a rat. If you smell a rat, you suspect something is wrong. This phrase may have come when rats were commonly found in homes. Dogs hunted them. If a dog smelled a rat, there was something wrong. Jenna's brothers insisted they didn't eat the last cookie, but she could smell a rat. Born with a silver spoon in one's mouth. If you are born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you are born into a wealthy family. This phrase has come from a tradition in which wealthy families give their children silver spoons. It also simply may refer to the fact that the rich use silver spoons instead of wooden ones. Jada was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Her father was a doctor and her mother a banker. Watch my six. When someone says watch my six, they mean watch out behind me. The phrase comes from fighter pilots. They don't refer to positions as numbers on a clock. 12 o'clock would be directly ahead, and 6 o'clock would be directly behind. Quentin asked his friends to watch his six when he walked into the haunted house. Beat around the bush. If you beat around the bush, you avoid talking about the main point. The phrase comes from bird hunting. Some people would beat a bush, and others would use nets to catch the birds that flew out. Diana didn't know the answer to her friend's question, so she beat around the bush. It's all Greek to me. If you can't read or understand something, it's all Greek to you. This phrase suggests that anything you can't read might as well be written in Greek. It was used in William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, but originally came from a Latin proverb. Fifth grader Ricky tried to read a college engineering textbook, but it was all Greek to him. Throw someone a curveball. If you throw someone a curveball, you surprise him or her with something that is difficult to deal with. This idiom comes from the sport of baseball. A curveball is a kind of pitch that is difficult to hit. Casey threw Natasha a curveball when she said she could not work on their group project that evening. Sawbuck. A sawbuck is a $10 bill. U.S. currency used to have Roman numerals on it, so the $10 bill had an X. This reminded people of an old-fashioned sawhorse, which was also called a sawbuck. Damien thought it was getting harder and harder to get a nice dinner for less than a sawbuck. Wet your whistle. When you wet your whistle, you take a drink. In the past, the mouth was sometimes referred to as a whistle. It was especially used in connection with singing or dancing. It is also difficult to sing or whistle with a dry mouth. Reginald liked to wet his whistle with a cool glass of water before he sang for people. Yahoo. A yahoo is a loud, foolish, violent person. The term comes from Jonathan Swift's 1726 novel, Gulliver's Travels. In the book, yahoos were savage and cowardly characters. Gina disliked it when the other basketball team's fans acted like yahoos. New York Minute. A New York minute is a very short amount of time. This phrase refers to the fast pace of life in New York City. It was probably coined by people from elsewhere in the United States. When Mr. Silverman brought donuts to class, they were always gone in a New York minute. Dos ex machina. Dos ex machina is a quick way to solve a plot problem in a story, even if it doesn't make sense. This phrase is Latin for God from the machine. It comes from Greek and Roman plays where a plot problem was often fixed by having a god solve it. Morgan enjoyed the movie until the end. The director just used a dos ex machina to resolve the story. Jump the gun. If you jump the gun, you do something before the appropriate time. This idiom comes from the practice of using a pistol shot to start a race. Dante had to be careful not to jump the gun and start playing his violin solo early. No-brainer. Something that is a no-brainer is an easy decision. This term suggests that a decision is so easy you don't need to use your brain. It was first used this way in a Canadian newspaper in the 1960s. Elizabeth